Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and continuing my series, The Lost, in which I discuss lesser-known, more obscure movies that I think deserve to be seen. Today I want to talk to you guys about the late 90s slasher flick, Cherry Falls, starring Brittany Murphy, Michael Biehn, and Jay Mohr. Cherry Falls came out at the very end of the Scream-era slasher revolution. Scream, of course, came out in the mid-90s and totally rejuvenated the slasher subgenre. And then theaters were inundated with Scream-like slasher movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, etc., etc. The video stores were also absolutely inundated with direct-to-DVD Scream-type slasher movies. Cherry Falls is unique in this respect because Cherry Falls pretty much it bypassed DVD and went straight to the USA Network. At least that's where I first saw the film. It was like a USA Network premiere movie. Came out in 1999, and even at this point, only a few years after Scream had come out, pretty much all the goodwill and the warm sentiment that was pumped into the slasher subgenre by Scream, at this point the well was dry. All the lame sort of, trendy, hip slasher movies that had came out in Scream's wake had really ran their course, put it that way. So I really didn't expect very much from Cherry Falls when I first saw it on the USA Network. I remember hearing, sort of a promo for the movie where they were talking about the classic, slasher movie trope, if you have sex, you die. Well, Cherry Falls takes that familiar trope and turns it on its head. In Cherry Falls, if you don't have sex, you die. If you're a virgin, you're marked for death. I thought that sounded kind of interesting. I remember watching the movie. I'm pretty sure I watched it with a couple of friends, and in the end, it's like, wow, that was pretty good. That was pretty entertaining. That was a fun slasher movie. Nothing special, but fun. And it came on USA several more times. My buddy actually picked up a DVD of it, and we watched it a couple of times, and then the movie kind of disappeared. It kind of went away into obscurity. There is a DVD version of the film. It's like a double DVD with it and a John Ritter movie. I can't really recall what it's called, but it's long out of print. It's available on eBay and Amazon Marketplace if you want to pay a lot of money for it. I actually lucked out and did some research and found this Region 2 DVD of the film. Bought it relatively cheaply, popped it in, watched it for the first time in many, many years, probably a decade at least, and just had a lot of fun with this movie. It's part nostalgia because it does remind me of the 90s. It reminds me of that era in horror in the mid to late 90s when, when Scream and the Scream knockoffs were just absolutely everywhere. It reminds me of, myself being in high school at that time, being a teenager, etc., etc. But I also think Cherry Falls is just a solid, fun, entertaining, at times cheesy, silly slasher movie. And the premise is this. In Cherry Falls, Virginia, yes, the town is called Cherry Falls, a killer is on the loose marking virgins. He's out to kill virgins. Virgins in Cherry Falls are marked for death. And once the kids in this high school realize, virgins are an endangered species. One character even says, we're an endangered species. They orchestrate what they call the Hymen Holocaust, a teen orgy that's actually titled the Pop Your Cherry Ball. To take themselves off the endangered species list while this killer's running around and, picking kids off one by one. It's a traditional slasher movie, very much of its era. But it does take that familiar trope, it turns it on its head. I do like the performances in the film. Brittany Murphy, I always liked Brittany Murphy as an actress. I always thought she was kind of she brought a kind of honesty to whatever character she was playing. I always really liked her as an actress. Very sad that she passed away. Whenever I like watching this movie, or whenever I see a picture of her, I just, for some reason, I feel almost fatherly toward her, and I just think to myself, oh, that poor baby. That poor baby. I don't know what it is, but I just think, oh, that poor baby. But I think she was a great actress. Watching her in this, she's definitely the best actor in this film, hands down. Even though it's, you know, a slasher movie, a low-budget slasher movie, she's still giving it her all. So definitely, my hat's off to her. Michael Biehn is her father. He's also the sheriff of the town with a very dark secret that will come around to bite him in the butt very soon. Weird relationship between Brittany Murphy and her parents in this film. Her mother is this very touchy-feely, inappropriate kind of woman. Her and her father, they share this very awkward sexual moment while he's teaching her self-defense. Some odd family dynamic going on there. I'm not sure what that was about. But yeah, interesting there. The characters are all pretty much I almost want to say it's a satire of the traditional, you know, you've got sort of, you know, the geeky characters, you've got the cool characters, you know, you've got the characters who just want to, you know, get out there and lose their virginity, you know, you've got the slutty cheerleader type character. It's like there's a funny sequence where that character is actually, she's called this meeting with all the other girls before the orgy, and she's telling them what to expect of teenage boys because she's the more experienced one, and she does not speak well of teenage boys in an intimate setting, put it that way. But it's that's a pretty interesting moment there. It's like I said, I've always really liked Cherry Falls. I think it's a solid slasher movie. It's not a great movie or a great slasher movie, but it brings back fond memories for me of the 90s and of being a teenager. And I think it is underrated. I mean, this is a movie, it's too bad that this movie does not have a better DVD or Blu-ray release, quite honestly, because I think it deserves one. There are far lesser slasher films of this era that have gotten really good Blu-ray releases. It's sad that this one doesn't. I mean, this one is pretty much relegated to the out-of-print, eBay bin, where, you know, if you want this on DVD, you've got to pay quite a bit of money to get it, or, you know, do your research and, you know, find a Region 2 version of it, which means you have to have a region-free DVD player, which I luckily do, which is how I picked this up and was able to watch it, and I'm so glad that I did. I really enjoyed Cherry Falls. Like I said, not the greatest slasher movie by any stretch of the imagination, but a pretty solid one. It's fun, it's satirical, it's tongue-in-cheek, it's silly, it's really well done. Also, it's very cut. I mean, you can tell it's just cut 3 ways from Sunday. Everything even remotely graphic as far as the violence is concerned, as far as the kills are concerned, have been trimmed. Not just trimmed. It seems like there's just entire sequences that are absolutely chopped out of this movie. It's one of those movies that just feels like it was edited with a meat cleaver, by the censors, which is, again, another an unfortunate thing. Yeah, I really like Cherry Falls, and it's a movie that I think absolutely deserves to be seen. If you guys have seen Cherry Falls, please let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. And yeah, until next time, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks as always for watching. Take it easy. Peace.